Hey everyone, John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing LingoPie, which is a pretty unique language learning program and different from a lot of other apps that we've used. I'm going to break down how LingoPie works, what I like, what I don't like, and ultimately whether I think it's an effective tool to learn any language. And just as a heads up, because I'll just be covering the major highlights and lowlights in this video, if you find you need some more detail at any point, you can always check out our full detailed written review of LingoPie over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight LingoPie Review. It's the quickest way to find it. Okay, so before I just jump into the pros and cons, let's quickly cover what LingoPie is and how it works. So by definition, LingoPie is a video on-demand platform for language learning. Or in simple terms, it's an app that uses real TV shows and movies to help you learn any language. So essentially, after you sign up and select your target language, you're brought to a dashboard that looks very similar to Netflix. In fact, I've seen some people on Reddit call LingoPie the Netflix of language learning, which makes sense now that I've been using it. But anyways, there's all sorts of shows and movies to choose from broken out by category, just like how Netflix does it. And then once you start watching a particular show or movie, there are subtitles and all sorts of different features and tools to help you understand and learn what's being said by the different characters. I'll touch on these features when I cover the pros and cons later, but for now, that's the gist of how it works. The idea here is that LingoPie is trying to combine binge watching with learning, with the theory being that you'll stick with it longer than other language apps since you're doing something that you actually like and you're having fun. Alright, so with that background, let's move into what I really liked about the LingoPie program. And the first thing that I liked about LingoPie is that it's just a flat out entertaining way to learn a new language. Plain and simple. I mean, these are actual TV shows and movies that you would likely watch anyways, like Money Heist or Cable Girls. So from a pure content perspective, LingoPie definitely deserves 2 thumbs up. Their content library is much more entertaining and relevant than other video on-demand competitors like FluentU, which just used old commercials and cartoons and movie trailers from YouTube. Then, number 2, believe it or not, is pricing. I was actually pretty surprised by how affordable the LingoPie subscription options are given their high quality content. The company offers 3 different plans to choose from. There's a 3-month plan for $36, an annual plan for $144, and a lifetime subscription for $650. However, those are just the MSRPs, and the company is almost always running some sort of sale or special promotion. For example, their annual plan is usually marked down to $72, or $6 per month, and their lifetime subscription is usually discounted all the way down to $200. So definitely make sure to check the description below for coupon codes. In fact, I'll actually do my best to keep the text down below the video screen updated with the most current discount codes that I can find, so make sure to check that out prior to purchasing. But at $6 per month, that's cheaper than Babbel, Pimsleur, and Rosetta. Plus, LingoPie subscriptions include access to all languages, not just one, so that's a big bonus as well. Alright, so next up, there are a ton of cool and useful features within the LingoPie platform to assist in the learning process. I was honestly kind of surprised. I was just expecting to watch some TV shows with subtitles, but LingoPie definitely goes beyond that. First, I like that you can quickly toggle back and forth between English subtitles and subtitles in your target language. Then there's a loop setting that you can easily switch on so that the scene repeats itself until you understand what's going on, which definitely comes in handy when things start to pick up pace and move fast. And to piggyback on that last point, I also like that LingoPie allows you to control the playback speed, which is extremely helpful, especially if you're a beginner. I was constantly adjusting the speed depending on the show or movie I was watching and how quickly the characters were talking. And finally, you can pause the show or movie you're watching at any time and participate by repeating the sentence that the character just said. And what's cool is that LingoPie employs speech recognition technology that records your pronunciation and then grades it on a scale from 1 to 100. That way it's not all just listening and reading, you also get some verbal practice too whenever you'd like. Alright, so moving on to pro number 4, and this is technically another feature, but I thought it deserved its own section, and that's the fact that LingoPie is great when it comes to grammar instruction. So first, LingoPie color codes the subtitles in your target language. Nouns are blue, verbs are pink, adjectives are green, etc., etc. Then another aspect of this is that you can click on any word within the subtitle and it'll immediately pull up the definition, whether it's singular or plural, masculine or feminine, etc. And finally, you can click on the little light bulb symbol below the screen and that'll pull up LingoPie's grammar coach to give you a detailed explanation of why the character said a particular word or the grammar rules behind the statement. And by the way, if you want to see some examples of what LingoPie's grammar coach looks like or see the various features that I just talked about, make sure to check out that full detailed written review that I mentioned earlier in this video. I'll have a link down below in the description for you. I have a bunch of screen grabs and examples over there for you to get a better feel for what to expect. All right, so last up here, and this is another feature that I thought deserved its own section, is the fact that LingoPie automatically creates interactive flashcards for you. So essentially how it works is that as you're watching a show or movie and you're reading the subtitles, if you come across a word or phrase that you don't understand and you click it to find out more detail, LingoPie automatically creates a flashcard for you to review at a later time. And I'm not talking about some boring flashcard with one word on each side. These are interactive video-based flashcards that use the exact clip from the show or movie where the word or phrase was said, which in my opinion really helps with recall. Being able to put a face or scene to a word definitely boosts material retention and helps with using the word in the proper context. Okay, so now that we've touched on the positives, let's turn the tables and discuss some of the negatives of using LingoPie to learn a new language. And the first one is that the subtitles that LingoPie uses are not always 100% correct. Sometimes when you click on a word, it'll show the literal definition, even though it's different from how the word or phrase was used contextually in the show or movie. In other words, LingoPie does not always account for the context in which the word or phrase is used. I mean, let's take the word nail, for example. LingoPie might refer to a fingernail in their material when really the character was saying you need a hammer and a nail. You probably get it. These sorts of mix-ups are expected, but it does hinder the learning process from time to time. All right, so next up, although LingoPie does allow you to record yourself repeating sentences, I'd still like to see the company offer more opportunities for verbal practice. More specifically, it would be great if there was an opportunity for spontaneous language usage as opposed to just listening and repeating words in a vacuum. Maybe some sort of drill or exercise that mimics or resembles a full conversation, similar to what Rocket Languages offers. I think this would really help round out LingoPie's program and help users develop their verbal skills so they can start holding basic conversations sooner. Plus, although I like that the LingoPie program offers speech recognition technology that grades your pronunciation from 1 to 100, it's far from perfect. For example, there was an instance where I repeated the sentence in English rather than in Spanish, and it still gave me a grade of 30 out of 100 somehow. So it's nice to have that pronunciation feedback, but just keep in mind that it's not always 100% accurate. All right, so next up, I don't think the LingoPie program is ideal for beginners, especially if you're someone who gets frustrated easily. And I say that because essentially there's no structure or organized curriculum that gradually brings you up to speed. You're just sort of thrown into the fire and expected to pick up the language immediately. And although the company does allow you to filter shows and movies by level, basic, moderate, or expert, it can still be a little frustrating as a newcomer. The shows and movies progress quickly, and the language choices used by the characters tend to be complex. I mean, as you can probably imagine, the characters in the various shows and movies are not using basic sentences like "the car is red" or "the dog is hungry." So bottom line, I would recommend LingoPie for people who at least have a basic understanding or foundation in your target language, even if it's just 1 year of high school Spanish or French, for example. Okay, so last up here, and this one is pretty straightforward. Right now, LingoPie only offers programs for 8 languages: Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and Russian. These are obviously the most popular languages, which is great, but for comparison purposes, Pimsleur, for example, offers language courses for over 50 languages. Okay, so time for my final verdict. But before I get to that, I should just mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a free language learning subscription to one lucky person. I'll put all the details down below in the description on how to get entered, but just know it takes less than 10 seconds, and hey, you never know, you could win a totally free subscription to LingoPie. All right, so time to answer the big question. Is LingoPie worth the money? And is it effective for learning a new language? Well, after using and reviewing the program, there's definitely a lot to like. The company's subscription plans are very affordable at less than $6 per month. The content is top-notch. We're talking premier TV shows and movies that are entertaining and relevant. And the company offers all sorts of unique and helpful tools and features to aid in the learning process. But with that said, there are some negatives as well. Most notably is that there is no clear curriculum or learning framework. You're sort of just left on your own to figure things out. So at the end of the day, I see LingoPie as an ideal supplemental tool for intermediate to advanced learners, not necessarily a standalone program for beginners. So as long as you have basic foundational knowledge of your target language, then yes, I think LingoPie is worth it. It's definitely an entertaining and fun way to learn a new language. But anyway, that's all I've got for you. I hope this video's been helpful and you learned a little something about LingoPie. If so, make sure to return the favor by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and dropping me a quick comment below. That would be really appreciated. And again, if you want to see that full detailed written review of LingoPie that I mentioned earlier in this video, just hop on over to our website. Again, that's testprepinsight.com, or you can check out the other videos we have on our YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of great video content out there. But as always, thanks for watching, best of luck, and I'll see you in the next one.